HiSec Buyback offers 90% JITA anywhere in HiSec. Simply go to hisec.evebuyback.com, appraise your items, create a contract, and get paid quickly.
Hi friends, welcome to Talking in Stations. I'm Rahne. I am both the host and the engineer. I pinged Nick. I think Nick did not realize he was engineering today. So it's just me. I figured I was like, well, I could use the extra time, right, if we don't have this. But at the same time, it's like, I feel like there's been like a lot of stuff coming up that we haven't really touched on, so I want to make sure we hit all of that. I've also opened it up to Q&A. I don't know if TIS has done that before, where we have an active Q&A. I'm talking, and I'm pretty sure we didn't ping this, because I have to be the one to ping it. Let's do this. How do I copy, paste? Smiley face. Should I ping everyone? Oh, I'll publish. Confirm. I should not ping, because how is it set to go to whoever? Alright, you guys can actually look at the undock. This is super cool. For some reason we have an Arazu. Are the Arazus... Are they the ones? I don't know why I clicked the eye. Where's the eye? Oh, right here. It looks a little different. Yeah, they are the ones that can do the sign on. Let me look at myself. Hello, little friend. I do not know you. I don't have the pictures anymore. I don't think I know them. The best way, by the way, to avoid getting bumped. Alright, there we go. Okay, we're set in game. We're set, hopefully. Okay, I can see chat. That's good. Sometimes chat doesn't load and Twitch doesn't tell you. So we're gonna talk through some stuff. I'll just like talk, right? Until y'all want to come in with Q&A. Where's my thing? Oh, here's all my notes. I was like, what the I just took so many notes and then I lost them. Okay, let's do this. We got that, we got that. Sorry, my cat's bothering me. The moment I start talking to you guys, she thinks she wants attention instead of me. You know, like, I talk to her all the time. She doesn't want attention then. But if I talk to you guys, she wants attention. Okay. So we got the weekend news. I think the big thing I want to call out that happened within the last week/weekend, we didn't touch on it last weekend, but the AT trials are over. So the Alliance tournament has all their participants being able to either get in via prior performance in tournaments, a silent auction, and what used to be a random draw. They got rid of the random draw and instead they do what's generally known as feeder rounds, I think, no matter the variation you look at them. So this one, they were called trials, the tribal trials. So because it was Mimitar themed, the Mimitar tribes, and then doing the trials to kind of like have folks prove their worth. So, oh, there's my cat. You guys can all see my cat. Hi, Tina. Yes, please shove your tail in my face. Do you want to say hi? Do you want to come up here? Yeah, you can step here. It's okay. See? I hold it. She's looking at my desk. I have my laptop for work sitting here. So there's my cat. Where was I? Oh, the trials. So Mimitar theme, so they did the tribes. They had, geez, okay, so how many, I think is it still 32 participants in the Alliance tournament rather than 64? This allows them to put it in 2 weekends instead of 4 weekends, which is a long time when you're doing production stuff and you want to be able to have your weekends free and whatnot. A lot of free time. So they did the trials, and so then I think it was, let me pull, I can't see it because I was looking at my cat. Oh, 35 teams to 7, which is kind of dramatic if you think of the main tournament having 34. I want to say it's 34, I could be wrong. I know last year they upped it to 40 because of the demand. So 2 weekends for folks to try and be able to participate. They had each of the tribes, so there were 7 tribes. So each of the tribe had players, and then they did like kind of a round robin sort of matchup. So I think it was like 3 or 4, then they would all play each other. And then if you were top of the round robin, so you got the most wins or the most points by their criteria, because there were like multiple rounds of criteria for how did you win. then you were onto the tournament. But if you lost, then you went into the 7th tribe. So I think the last tribe, I forget who it was. I'm going to say Nephanter because it's at the bottom of the list, but that could be wrong. But they took in all of the quote unquote losers. So you had 6 people who would have gotten like second place, so they went into the last tribe. So you have 7 tribes, 6 of them had a round robin. I'm doing the math wrong on my hands. 6 of them had round robin, and then the winners of those got to go on. And then for the 7th, all of the second place people of each tribe got to go into the 7th tribe to be able to compete for the top there. So that one was real cutthroat. That was the last weekend. A lot of good teams entered, only 1 left. And then at the end of the day, we have our final lineup. So the teams, the alliances that are going on to Alliance Tournament 18. Yeah, 18 are All Hail Na, Bright Side of Death, Electus Matari, Rusty Hyena's Clan, Hidden Leaf, Village Ninja, Assassin Squad Esports, Exodus Dot, and Odin's Call. Some of those names are familiar, some of them are newer. Looking at you, All Hail Na. But it's exciting to see folks actually being able to go. It's also exciting to see some old names, such as Bright Side of Death, Electus Matari. And then also the meme names, as we see Hidden Leaf, Village Ninja, Assassin Squad Esports, with the massive name. So they're going on to the Alliance Tournament. Alliance Tournament comes out in November. Gosh, now I'm going to forget when it actually comes out. I'm getting cat hair on my face. I had to wipe it off. So yep, the 12th and the 13th is the first weekend, and then the 19th and the 20th is the second weekend. I'm 99% sure that's right. And so that'll be hosted in Nottingham. We already have a lineup. I don't think they've publicly announced, but we were allowed to show. They have a lineup of analysts that are allowed to go. So that was Jintan, Mystical Might, and Black Bart Pirate. So all commentators who have done tournament stuff before, showing up and doing the analyst work. They have remote casters. And then they obviously have the desk crew. Right, so you have like Ithaca. Ithaca's always there. And then you have folks like doing kind of the behind the scenes stuff. So like that's the Bay RJs of the world and the Kyles, or Discreet Air, I think is how he goes by on the internet, but no one calls him that. Everyone calls him Kyle. And so that sort of thing is how folks, or how we run the tournaments. I wish we could probably get some of them on and talk about it if they ever so decide to. So that was the tournament stuff. I feel like we didn't talk about it a lot last weekend or the weekend before, so I wanted to make sure it got a special shout out. Alright, sorry. One of the Even T folks who's helping run the tournament is actually in America, so I was like, yo, come hang out. But they're doing, I think he's doing like vacation stuff. Hopefully vacation stuff, hopefully not work stuff. And then, so that's tournament stuff. All of you love to hear me talk about tournaments. I know, I get it. If you want to talk about lore, right? So CCP is putting more emphasis on the lore. So a lot of players are like begging for some indication of what's coming out. CCP instead has put that through the lore. So the quote-unquote big lore news is about the Interbus CEO. So I can't pronounce his name. I could try. Huakaka Pukara dies at age 77. I think it was a heart attack. Open Comms is talking about he was probably assassinated. But so he's the Interbus CEO. So the reason that's critical, for those of you who are like, I don't care about lore rain, this sucks. The Interbus was what CCP was talking about with Interbus credits, right? With heraldry coming in. So if you want, hello Enjoyeds, hello Enjoys Reefer, how are you? So the Interbus credits are used for heraldry, and you're like, well, what the heck is that? Heraldry is the stuff where you have like the alliance skins, the customizations of your ships, purely cosmetic type stuff. And so all of that is going to be coming out with Interbus credits and through heraldry, which you can purchase with Interbus credits. So the reason it's so critical is because now nobody can be like, wow, we don't know what's happening. Hey Rayo, how are you? And so the CEO dying kind of is alluding to, hey, maybe something's going to happen. And then the next news story, actually I could copy and paste these to you guys. Can I do that? Copy. There's no copy. I have to actually physically highlight it all. You kidding me? Alright, so there's the CEO dying. Oh my gosh, it duplicated that like 10 times. I just want to copy the link, computer. Alright, we're just going to click the link and then copy it. There's the link for one. And then the second one is around the new CEO. Interbus reincorporates under new company Evermore. You might say, Rain, that's also really boring stuff. No, this is alluding, right? So they got a new CEO, right? New CEO, new direction. So now the new CEO is going to be like, hey guys, we want to make money. There was a comment made by one of the TIS staff that it has a company that has its fingers in everything from clones to skins, right? So all the new heraldry stuff, heraldry and Interbus credits or whatever the new name for it. There was also a comment, I think they went from private to public, which I think, I'm going to go back and read this because I am probably 99% wrong on this. Because I want to make sure, because I generally don't like reading. Oh, no, they're talking about public transit. No, wait, let me look. If they incorporates into new company Evermore, blah, blah, blah. Alexander Ducasse is the new CEO. Change man, transparent. New Eden transportation stalwart to crawl from under the constraints of international politics and expand. Diversification of Evermore's portfolios. New and innovative approach to connections that bind the people of New Eden. So it's very clearly hinting at like, hey, I'm a new CEO. I want to be able to do new things. They might have it all like, hey, let me make money. I think it's pronounced Duck Sauce. You want me to? Okay, I could call him Mr. Duck Sauce, the new CEO Duck Sauce. It's obviously talking about like diversifying portfolio, so getting his hands in all the new things. Right, so that was the talk about the fingers and everything from clones to skins. So for those of you who are like, man, I want new cosmetics. Where's my alliance skins? They're coming. This is CCP telling us they're coming without CCP saying they're coming, right? So they're setting it up. So I think by the time the new faction warfare stuff rolls out in November, I was gonna say May. I don't know why I was gonna say May. Massacre of Galente French. Dude, if they wanted me to be able to pronounce it, they just gotta make it easier to pronounce, okay? I am simple-minded. Just spell it out. If you need, put pictures, right? I don't know. With crayons. So, yeah, I'm excited. I like cosmetics. I love this kind of stuff. So I'm like, yay, finally. I can support the colors of, like, my Corp and Alliance. And, like, I don't know. Maybe they'll make streamers allowed to have skins. Like, hello? I would just give you guys all a gaudy pink. Like, Tristan-looking skin or something. Or a Logi skin. That would be hilarious. Actually, a group of, like, scimitars flying and they're all gaudy pink. Alright. But yeah, so that's coming. So, for those of you who hate the lore, this is the long story short that I spent 20 minutes telling you stuff without really telling you stuff, is that Interbus credits are coming, Heraldry is coming, it's set up for November. Ducasse, close enough. Duck Sauce. I could say duck ass. Ducasse. I figured it was like Ducasse. I can't speak French though. I think anytime there's new lore, you just throw a tub of keyboards down a flight of stairs and whatever happens. That's how I feel when I read it. Like, half the time I read this stuff and I'm like, I don't know what these words mean. It doesn't make sense. Oh, but speaking of lore. So, faction warfare, right? We've had all this exciting shenanigans with the faction warfare updates and whatnot. Faction warfare updates. Faction warfare events, sorry. I'm like brain dead. So, the Caldari actually managed to build their new Stargate. The word is that the Galente will still be able to build doors. And then Vard, one of the main systems between the Minmatar and the Amar, actually flipped to the Minmatar. That was as last I heard of it. Granted, this was like 7 days ago. So it could have flipped back, but there's still progress going on there. So if you're still like, man, I really want to fly these new ships, I just want to participate, blah, 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 there's still time to do that. Make a first-person shooter based on Waterfowl Civil War. Quack Arena. Jesus Christ, that's a terrible dad joke. Stop. I said you guys could ask me questions, not tell me dad jokes. I'm all by myself, so we're on this train and we're gonna run it off the cliff or whatever they say. You know, like in those ye old western movies? Done. But yeah, so that's faction warfare stuff. You can still get the new ships. You can still do like the token reward. Maybe, I think probably more so for Minmatar Amar. I don't know if you can still do it for Caldari because they completed their thing. I would assume you could. Who the heck knows? I don't know. I just make it up. Right? If I say it, it's actual official news. No one will fact check me. That's how it works, right? That's how like being a streamer is. So everything was meaningless. No, it was still important, right? The Caldari have their gate built. It's beneficial for them to help control an area, especially a pocket. I believe the Galente, what I heard through the grapevine, was the Galente actually used the time to actually push the war zone rather than focus on the event. And so they actually had their own objectives for that. This is the most... No, this is good. Even out of the loot for like a month. Do me too. Purpose was to stop others from getting the gate. Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. No, I get that. CCP does a lot of the whole, like, oh, you have a choice. Oh, you must act now. And then they kind of backpedal on it, like, oh, well, we want everyone to get a token of surprise or whatever. That's not how it works. Like a participation trophy or whatever. I get that. That's frustrating, right? Speaking of which, we have Totality Day is going on, so you get login rewards. I looked. They're not really that great, at least for my purposes. It's like boosters I never use. But Totality Day is going on. So Totality Day was actually done by the players that CCP incorporated. So what originally happened, right? So you had the Triglavian invasion, you had folks fighting for the Triglavians, folks fighting against the Triglavians, which then became Edencom, right? And so they kind of went back and forth, back and forth. The Triglavians, quote unquote, won, where they got, Trig Space, Poshvin, as we now know it. The Edencom literally got nothing. Like, they did all this and got nothing for it. And then we have all of these events that CCP does throughout the year, right? For each of the races, right? So you have Amar Day, Mimitar Day, right? Galente Day, Caldari Day. So you have all these events, and like everyone's like, well, wait a minute, what about the Triglavians and Edencom? So they put their own event on. I believe it was last year. It was either started last year. Yeah, actually, it started last year. And they made like this huge role play event. They gave out prizes, this and that. And CCP was like, you know what? You guys are right. Triglavian should have one too. So they kind of essentially bullied CCP into making one too. They closed Naranja and said, oh, it was a player choice. CCP sucks. Yeah. Invasions was nothing to do with gates. Everything is CCP's agenda. I mean, I either want CCP to be very clear that, hey, you get something for all the effort you put in, or you don't. That's all I want. Because the people who did Edencom got like literally nothing. They put in all this effort and got nothing for it. But yeah, kind of sucks for them. But now that CCP's actually incorporated to Totality Day, you get skin. No, actually you don't get skins. Usually they do like skin giveaways or something like that. Not giveaways, sales. But you do get login events, and it is acknowledged by CCP. So that's super cool. It is also October 16th. So for those of you who are like me, where you love Halloween, I am assuming CCP is going to have a Halloween event. I do not know. I can bully them next week, because I will be seeing CCP Swift, CCP Antiquarian, and CCP Spider in Las Vegas for the eVegas player meetup. I say player meetup because it's hosted by Hyper Viper. It's not hosted by CCP. CCP is just sending devs and swag bags and whatnot. Your 2006 player, you're tired of CCP screwing the game with your industry. Oh yeah, I gotcha. But yeah, so that's going on this weekend. I'm actually excited. The one reason I was not too worried about this show not being super formal is because I have to pack. I look this way as I have all of my clothes kind of like strewn about to make sure I have outfits for everything, because there's a lot of stuff going on. All belts from your home system high sec. Man, that sucks. Do you still get anoms though in high sec? I was always curious, because I know null sec a lot of people mine the anoms rather than the belts. But yeah, so I fly out tomorrow. I know Manic flies out tomorrow, and some of the old Bastion guys. I call them old Bastion because Bastion's no longer around. So we'll be there. Obviously, you have folks who live in town that will be there. Like I want to say Greydor. I think that's his name. He does the Horde barbecue, and then Hyper and friends. But yeah, so it's actually super fun. So not being a CCP event, players have done like some extreme planning. Sorry, my cat is saying hello again. Adapt or die. See, you say that, but the game also has to adapt too, right? CCP tried for the longest time of, oh, you must be really good to play our game, and then they realized their game's just gonna die if they do that. Hence why we have 2,000 tutorial remakes. What are you doing? You're being a turd. She's being a turd. It's my cat. So, for Las Vegas, we have Wednesday at 6 p.m. They're taping BattleBots. I don't know if you guys are like me, where like 15 years ago, you would watch BattleBots on, God, what was it on Tech TV or like G4 or something like that? Like, it was like people would literally build robots and then you'd like try to beat up the other robot. And generally the goal was just to flip them over so that they couldn't work. And they literally, like, apparently that show's still going on and they do it in Vegas and you can go and be part of the live audience. I am like stoked. So Delana, Liara, and I are all going, and I think her father was like, Delana, I don't know if you know Delana's dad. Delana's dad's amazing. He's like, you know what, you girls need VIP tickets. And we're like, what do VIP tickets do? I don't know. I think they just give us like drinks or something like that. So we actually get to go watch BattleBots taping. And it's like we only found out a bit because Scalar on the eVegas Discord was sharing with everyone. So I think he's got a group going too. And it's like, Tina, yeah. Tina's right here. She being a brat. She wants to play, I think. But she gets mad when I play with her. But yeah, I am super excited. Like, BattleBots sounds amazing. Like, I don't know anything about robots. I don't know anything about how to act as a live audience. I'm just gonna be cheering for whatever robot. I think hopefully they give them names so I can say go name or whatever, like go a color, like go Team Red versus Team Blue. But yeah, I'm excited for it. And then Thursdays is the start of the official stuff. So Hyper Viper organized a dinner from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. You had to have a ticket, so he hasn't shared the location publicly. But I think doors open at 6. You get dinner, and then CCP does a talk, and then it's open bar. So people just essentially hanging out for a while. I'm actually super excited for it. And then after that, me and my buddies. So if you're going to eVegas and you want to go nightclubbing, let me know. We actually got a table in Las Vegas for Thursday night for Loud Luxury. BattleBots used to be a show years ago called Robot Wars. Yeah, it's exactly like that, Adam. But yeah, I am so excited. I feel really dumb, but if they have swag, I'm literally gonna buy swag to like, because it just sounds so cool. Like, I loved that as a kid. I would be like 14 years old, 15, I'd be like, I want to watch something on TV, and then I'd turn it on and be like, yay! It was so dumb. I love it. But yeah. And so, yeah, oh yeah. So me and my friends are going to a nightclub Thursday night, so if you're expecting me somewhere Friday morning, I will not be there. I am sorry. Friday, actually, speaking of Friday morning, so Friday at 10 a.m., they're doing Omega Mart at Area 15 Mall. So someone organized that. So Omega Mart is like, I don't know how to describe it. I feel like you have to experience it at some point in your life. It's expensive, and you need to spend a lot of time there. There's like puzzles and trivia and stuff, but it's just like a surreal experience. You pay for the experience. You're not paying for like, something to hold. Do you like the movie Real Steel? Is that the one with what's his face? Is that Hugh Jackman or whatever? It's like the cliche tough guy in every movie or whatever. Because yes, I've probably seen it. But yeah, Omega Mart looks really fun. I'm not going because it's at 10 a.m. and I will be dead tired. BattleBots, yes. It's going to be BattleBots. And then Friday night. So Friday, I think we're also hitting up. Oh, what was it? Oh, what's her face told me? Lady Scarlet told me there's something happening Friday night at 6 p.m. where I think we're all going to like a nerd bar just to hang out. They have karaoke, but it's stage karaoke. So for those who don't like stage karaoke, Friday at 10 p.m. I'm hosting karaoke, and that's going to be at GoGo Karaoke. You kind of just show up, and then I'll post what room number it is. It's like their largest room. It's like 5, 6, or 7 or something like that. It's at the end of the hallway. It's not AI fighting it. No, it's just like robots kind of programmed to like swing their arms. It's super fun though. And then Saturday. So Saturday is going to be the big pub crawl. Super fun. We're going to start on Fremont. So 6 p.m. we're all meeting at the Circa on Fremont. If you're under 21, you probably cannot join us because Circa's 21 and over, which is super cool if you want to be in a place where you don't have kids. But yeah, Fremont is where everyone's going. There's a bar there. It's called Vicky's. I believe it's called Vicky's because they have the giant like neon sign of Vicky, like their kind of logo. It's really fun because you can like, if you're gentle, you can reach out and touch her and people don't yell at you. But yeah, it starts there. So we're gonna go to Vicky's. Hey Soda Man, how are you? And we're gonna start there. They have a they have a drink called Blue Balls because they come in a circular kind of cup and they're blue and they're really good actually. So we start there, have some drinks, and then we're going to crawl Fremont. So if you haven't been to Vegas before, you have the Strip, and then Fremont's like the old Strip. They're both like an experience just to walk around. Fremont's probably more entertaining if you can handle the loud noise and the lights and the crowds. The Strip is more like a lot of people on the side of a sidewalk, right? Like it feels more like New York kind of walking where it's just like you're just trying to fight past crowds of people sightseeing and shit. And then Sunday, Hyper Viper specifically added this on the agenda. He's like, hey guys, we are all meeting at the Heart Bar to relax. I have a missed call on my work phone. Nobody has my work phone number. Do you guys love it? I can't wait to experience this while trying to work from home. I say work from home. Yeah, I don't know who these people are. Some people are calling me. I don't know them. Yeah, it's gonna be tons of fun. So, should be good. Oh yeah, the Heart Bar. So, for those who don't remember, years ago, literally my first Vegas. God, what was that? Oh yeah, 2015, 2016. CCP held it in Planet Hollywood. Planet Hollywood, in terms of like the rooms and stuff, not the greatest. I hated staying there. But the Heart Bar is like super central, right in the middle of the casino. Lots of space to sitting. It's a circular bar, so like there's like no end and no beginning sort of thing. I've been to Vegas since '88. It was crazy. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Vegas is fun. I'm excited to go meet all the nerds. Like I get to see Drayden again. I get to see Manic. Obviously, Delana and Leo. I get to see some of my court mates. So one of my friends lives out there. I'm not gonna name him because I don't know if he wants that shared. But I'm super excited. So I get to see all my nerds. Do we expect any big news at Vegas? So CCP said they'll give an announcement, but it's not going to be major. I'm guessing they're going to do something that's more like fun, right? So instead of being like, hey guys, we're going to rework Sov Warfare, right? They might just be instead saying, hey, here's the official dates for like FanFest. Here's the official dates for Faction Warfare release. Here's a better roadmap for the Faction Warfare release. Like I expect something more like kind of expected but still good. Those are my expectations. CCP has said no like big new announcements. I think that was their word to Hyper, because Hyper's organizing it with CCP. If you want to know the devs, so you have CCP Antiquarian. Antiquarian, last I knew, was a quality dev, so quality assurance, sort of that. Think of, he's been there for a while. I'm assuming he does like he's probably higher up in the ranks. And then obviously you have CCP Swift, so the old Elise Randolph, so he's community, right? So no direct dev sort of like interference like work or whatever. And then you have CCP Spider, who's also, he's more I think marketing, but still more community facing, right? So none of these folks in theory are like out there like they're not like CCP Aurora, right? Like they're not out there programming, you know, faction warfare updates. So they're not like CCP Zalus, who's like out there running the Alliance tournament, right? You thought we were QA, we are kind of QA. You always have players as QA, right? So you have the two QA devs I know are Antiquarian and CCP Kestrel, who is formerly Suetonia. So, should all be good. It's exciting stuff. So, but it should be nice to, like, talk to them and ask them things, right? Like, they're not going to be, like, completely clueless, but they should know kind of, like, what's coming through. The status of things, right? So, that'll be... Do you guys have questions you want to ask CCP? Like, is there anything dying where you're like, hey, Rain, you need to ask CCP about this? Then I can ask... Give me stuff that I can ask them in person that I probably can't share the answers with you all. Because usually when you ask stuff in person and they tell you something that's kind of NDA, you can't just go out and blast it. That's why I said we have nothing to say. Because everything they said at FanFest was worthless. Where's the Microsoft integration with Excel? I can ask them about that. I love this stuff at FanFest. Are you kidding me? Faction Warfare? Revamp? Like, that's so good. Like, and then not only are they doing a Faction Warfare revamp, but it's coming out, like, next month, right? I'm trying to do math. It's like a little over 6 months, right? Or at least within a year. They should have at least the majority of it worked on. And then hold them to it. Let's say they can't get held to anything. I mean, that's true too. But you have to remember, players are like psychotic. They'll remember like every little thing a dev says. Right? So like when a dev's up there doing a presentation, you can kind of take what they're saying at face value. But when you ask them a question, and they have to like speak kind of off the cuff, and then they're like, yeah, man, but you said this. And it's like, well... Like, they were drinking, and they kind of just talked out of turn. How do you know what they said was what they wanted versus what someone else wanted? But yeah, players are kind of psychotic when it comes to stuff like that. Don't worry, though. I still hold them to Logi on kill mails. But the Excel thing was the huge news, was it? I didn't see that as huge. I saw that as, like, I think it's interesting, right? From the perspective that Microsoft is collaborating with CCP. I think that's interesting. But I wouldn't say it's, like, huge for gameplay. About the Faction Warfare change, where you don't have to leave your corp. Yeah, I'll ask about that. I'm hoping they'll give us an update on that, or like at least tell us why. I can ask like for the reasons. If you notice, I'm typing. I'm literally writing it down, so you guys can't get mad at me and say I didn't ask. Actually, I'll even write it on my work computer. I have a little notepad. I'll write it on my work computer. And then when TSA confiscates it, I can't. I'm kidding. I have, what's that thing where you get like fancy priority? I have that thing. TSA pre-check. Can you ask about faction warfare? Okay. Now leaving Corp Alliance. Reasons and timeline. Okay. For spreadsheet and space, it's monster. You think so? I thought you were being sarcastic to me, Tare. TSA pre. Yeah, I love it. I'll ask about that. So the Eve XX crossover. I'm gonna call it that. I'll ask for the timeline there. I'm also curious as to like what Microsoft gets from it, you know? Spreadsheet imply you play Eve. I would be really curious if like Microsoft was getting something from it, right? Because it's work on Microsoft's end too, right? Tina, come sit in the window, it's cold. The one thing I want to know, I'm gonna ask about Logi on Kill Mills again, I always ask. I usually DM Sutonia like once a week, and I'm like, bro, where's the Logi on Kill Mills? And he'll be like, Rain, I can't tell you, that's not even my line of work. And I'll be like, what the fuck? Do you guys have questions for me as TIS or for TIS? I feel like TIS has never done a Q&A. I also am probably not the best person to answer for TIS because I just host. Like all the background decision making and like I feel like all the publication stuff, like I deal mostly with Twitch, right? So actually I can explain what I do for TIS. So TIS, I'm a host. Part of my work is getting news, understanding the news, and sharing the news, right? And then a lot of that too is also with Twitch, right? So I always watch the Twitch chat, or at least kind of pay attention to it, kind of have it in the corner of my eye. Fielding Q&A, talking to guests, etc. So a lot of what I do isn't really like me having subject matter expertise, it's more me just using my skills. My subject matter expertise could be like asking questions in a way, or like in a certain way, or right, when you guys in chat ask a question, I could make it more meaningful, right? CSP already working on the next expansion, how many months between releases? I can ask for that too. Oh yeah. I was like, why is my question up there? What is next after Faction Warfare? I will ask that. How soon till we see it? So my guess is, right, I don't know what's next after Faction Warfare Stadia, but what they may do is they'll say, okay, here's Vegas, we announce some stuff, and then, you know, Faction Warfare comes in, and then they'll give it like 6 months, and then should hopefully be around the time, you know, they're doing like iterations, presumably doing iterations, but then should be the time for like FanFest, and they're like, okay, now we can announce the next big stuff at FanFest. Less spreadsheets, more blow things up, but you got to do math and to figure out how good it is to blow something up, right? All right. Oh yeah, what I do for TIS. So, and then a lot of what I do is only related to the Twitch. So like Artemis, she'll push stuff to like the podcast, YouTube, any of those sort of downstream things. I think we have a website. I don't do anything with the website. I don't do anything with money either. Like they've offered me, they say, hey, if you want new setup and stuff, or like a green screen, like I have a green screen. I don't want to, I feel weird taking people's money. I don't want to do that. Like I'd rather see it go back to the show for like, I don't know, swag to give away or something like that, which I don't even know if we do, which would be cool. Actually, we should do that. I'll tell Artemis to do that. But yeah, I don't handle the skins from the partner stuff. I am in the partner Discord for Faction or for Talking in Stations, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know if you guys ever heard or seen leaks from the partner Discord. It's kind of a cluster for the most part. Not because of CCP, but because of other partners, which is sad to say. But yeah, so that's what I do for TIS. I ask questions. I don't do anything with modding. A lot of people ping me to do mod stuff, and it's like, I don't mod. I will mod the Twitch chat, right? So you guys saw me doing that with both Hateless and Hawk in their interviews. And I will scold you guys when you guys get a little too rowdy. But yeah, I don't do anything modding on the Discord. Like, I have half the stuff on Discord muted because like there's so many channels. My partner has said this one removed for refusing to make videos. No. So here. No, that's a good question though, right? So in theory, I would not ever know if Hateless was removed or why he was removed, right? Same with any other partner. The only way I would know is me as a partner being removed. Right? So when I got my partnership, I was doing like weekly streams, at least weekly streams multiple times a week, and then I got busy with work. And I remember they even sent me an email. They said, "Hey, like just so you know, right? So after 3 months, they do checks every 3 months. So the first 3 months, they're like, "Hey, Rain, we know you're not streaming a lot. Just want to let you know here's the criteria. If we see this consistent, we'll remove you from the program, but don't worry, it's not that big of a deal. You can always come back." And I was like, "Okay, that's fair." Because I hadn't been streaming. I was busy with work. And then another 3 months go by, and I was essentially removed because of work, right? So I wasn't getting I wasn't getting skins, I wasn't getting plex, etc. But then I sort of transitioned to that was around the time I think I transitioned to TIS. So I was still in the Discord, and then once I was fully on board with TIS, where Matterall stepped down and then I stepped up, it went from they used my account then, right? And so that's where I kind of transitioned. There have been people, like, I will say, forcibly removed from the partner program, as in they got removed and will not be let back in. I know of 2, and I know of those 2 because either they admitted it or I heard through the grapevine, right? So if you're talking Hateless, right? So Hateless isn't making videos. So what would happen is 3 months would go by since his last video, or whenever his phase of the last video was, and then they would say, they'd probably email him, say, "Hey, Hateless, we know you're not making content. That's okay. Life gets busy, right? Because CCP is not there. Like, we as content creators, whatever your content is, we're not, like, we're not employees. We're not contractors. We're not demanded to make content for CCP or for Eve, right? Life comes first. And a lot of partners come in and out just because of life. And so usually what they'll say is like, "Hey, real life comes first, just letting you know." And then another 3 months, and then they'll just say, "Hey, you've been removed from the partner program." And then usually that just means loss of benefits, right? Depending how it goes, right? So if he starts doing any other content, right? Like, so let's say he makes a website or something. He starts putting stuff on the website and it's starting to grow, then they could say, "You know what, we moved you from the partner Discord, but we're just gonna, keep you on the radar." I think Hateless was on as a streamer. So let's say he went from streamer to video maker and he started giving those metrics. Like, he could say, "At CCP, you're right. I'm not streaming, but here's, another way. Like, I've been blogging or posting videos or, X, Y, or Z," right? Because some people do that, right? Like, some people are both, like, especially streamers. Some people are both streamers and YouTubers, and they have a website, right? Like, that's what Redline did. Redline had multiple stuff. So that's generally that's my understanding of how and my experience of how CCP does it. CCP never announces like, "Hey guys, here's the partners we removed for this cycle." Like, they never do that ever. Like, the only way you would notice is if you are actively watching and you're like, "Okay, if I do like, can I see Hateless on the sidebar, right? Oh, now he's no longer there. Oh, was he removed?" Like, that's really the only way you would know. And you would have to do that for like every single partner. So if you're only saying, "Oh, there's this one person who's had some publicity, I'm only going to watch them," then you just kind of look really shitty. So that's how I see it. And then as far as I'm aware, CCP is really open to right? Like, because they understand people have life, right? So if you have a kid, you're like, "Hey, CCP, I'm not able to maintain my website anymore." And then like a year later, you come back, you say, "Hey," like, say like Zkill, you're like, "Hey, CCP, sorry, like, super busy with work because I just had or with life because I just had a kid. Now I'm back." And then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." Like, it's not like they're gonna like blacklist you for just not making content. They will blacklist you for other things, like if you get banned, or I don't know, you do something terrible. You break like the partner like agreements beyond just not making content. That's how I've always understood it. But yeah. Do you guys have questions? More questions? It takes at least 6 months. I think if you guys were slightly paying attention to the timeline, it takes at least 6 months to get removed. That's assuming you're not doing anything dramatic. So if you go out and get caught RMTing everything, you'll probably be removed immediately. But yeah. Do you guys have questions for me, for CCP? for TIS. I can pass questions along to TIS staff. Usually, TIS staff is fun. We all just kind of post links, post OPSEC stuff. It's super interesting. That's why, like, if you ever see me go live and I'm like, oh wow, look at this convenient fight I've run across. It's like on TIS, I should say, on the TIS channel. Hello, Suni CC. First time chat. Should I put my name on here? It's European Italian stations, but technically I'm Rain. My cat says hello. Tina, you want to say hi? Hi. She's just staring at me like, what the hell do you want? Like, we got lucky she jumped on my lap. Usually she hasn't done that in a while. Do you guys plan on having another episode about the Gankers again? We've had at least like 2 episodes plus like a little bit of a third, so probably not. Unless CCP announces some like dramatic change in the mechanics related to ganking, I could see us doing something there. I've ever been asked, anyone planning on streaming eVegas? Ooh, I don't know. That's a good question. I think Drayden and Manic were talking on Open Comms. I think they were talking about trying to stream it one of the days. But that's a good question. I'm not sure. I don't know if Hyper has anything set up for anyone to stream. I know in the past INN did streams of Vegas. I think that was like in my first Vegas in 2015. They did it, and then Open Comms would do like a show from there. I think LB will still be streaming Open Comms. I do not think we are streaming TIS. I know myself, Carneros, Lady Scarlet will be there. Artemis I still think will be home. And same with Nick. I don't think Artemis and Nick are going. So they could technically run stuff. Stream the pub crawl, oh my gosh. It would be like max chaotic. Oh, you thought after following 2 episodes you guys had that there was going to be a discussion debate between the 2 parties. I mean, I would, son, but the problem is that what it's devolved into is just people slinging insults, right? I don't know if you were here during the Hateless stream, but both Nick and I, and then another mod, were modding the chat non-stop to the point where it was like, I was so concerned with making sure chat was like not sending death threats, because we did get one of those at the very end, right before we raided. So I was so busy doing that I really do not want to do that for 2 people potentially devolving into yelling at each other. Matterall hosts TIS again in the future, or did he stop hosting? Matterall retired. I don't think Matterall has time for games. He got like this brand new role, not brand new. He got a new role, or a new job, and he's been so consumed by real life. So that's why he had to step down. I do know he comes back sometimes. Sometimes I will see him like either talking in the Discord or socializing. So it's not like he's completely like one Eve, but I know he's super AFK. Any discussion should not be beneficial for anyone. Yeah, I mean, like, can you disable chat? No, you cannot disable chat. There's literally no way to disable it. So, and like normally, right, like you guys, right, there's a decent amount of people here. You guys are all pretty decent people where you're not like, haha guys, I'm gonna insult someone's real life and tell them to kill themselves, right? Like, you guys aren't doing that. You guys are being super respectful. But for whatever reason, when Hateless got on camera, and even some of when Hawk wasn't on camera technically, but when even Hawk was on his thing, like, we still had to mod the chat way more than normal. And I find that completely unacceptable for this community. Like, I'm not gonna give folks an avenue to come on here and be shitty, right? Hawk and Hateless have their beef, whatever. That's fine. They can discuss it. But I'm not giving them a platform so other people can come in and be shitty. Leave the ganking griefing alone by now. It's gone deep in the griefing territory. Other than that, someone just agreed to disagree at this point. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you have a stream and the Twitch chat is super rowdy, I can go and read some of the comments if you want. Actually, I probably shouldn't. Twitch will probably ban me for reading the comments. But yeah, some of the comments were really shitty, and it made me really ashamed to be part of this community. And then some of just the reactions in general, right? I don't know if you guys know this. Somebody like posted a blog insulting Nick, myself, and other mods, right? And then when I called her out on it, she was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to." And I'm like, "Okay, well, you literally published a blog. So like, I don't know what to tell you. You either fix your shit or shut the fuck up." Since the original debacle, Reddit posts have been really... See, this is why I don't read Reddit. Following this really hard because it reminds me of what makes Eve so unique. It's crazy. When's the... I don't know, oh my gosh, I'm going to mispronounce your name. Geronal. I don't know when the Halloween event is. We talked about it a little bit earlier. I would assume it would come soon, right? Like, you only have 2 weeks left of October. You've been following because it makes Eve so unique. It's crazy. You think Friday? All right, I'll take that. The problem is though, like I'm good with a discussion, with a debate, with people sharing opinions. What I'm not good with is when it goes way over the line, right? General candy. All right, general. Oh, general candy. Oh, I get it. So can I just call you Jen? Is that okay? Alright, that works. I'll call you Jen. But yeah, I'm hoping CCP does the event. I feel like the skins from that event are always like the best. Both the like purchase skins and the like in-game skins. Ganking is a part of you. You're not into ganking. See how some enjoy the gameplay. That's why you're playing. Yeah. Opt out of a debate between the two. You get it. If it gets inflamed. Yeah. And like, I don't know if you've seen. Are you in the Talking Stations Discord? Like, people have been talking about it for like 3 weeks. So it's like, okay, if we do a debate, like say chat was an issue, right? Like say third parties or people just coming in and being shitty aren't an issue. Like if you've been reading the chat, they've just been saying the same thing for like 3 weeks, if not longer. So it's like, okay, well, what would a debate do, right? They're just talking back and forth. So it's like, and then they just say, well, what about this or what about that, right? And then even with a debate, you get into the whole like, what is it, the logical fallacies? Like somebody always devolves into a logical fallacy, whether intentional or accidental, right? But yeah, CCP has a bigger issues to worry about than ganking. I mean, CCP needs to get those faction warfare updates pushed out. Okay, there's music. It sounded just staticky to me. I don't know if you guys can hear the music over my talking. But hello, Araya. Debate wouldn't do anything. You've been playing forward to 5 years now. It's not even a debate. It's just deep-rooted culture war. Hawk and Halos with each other. That's what you're saying. I mean, I don't think either of them are going to have a conversation. I literally had to tell Hawk multiple times to stay out of my DMs because he was DMing me about mod stuff. This is why I want to say, like, hey guys, I don't do anything mod related. Like, if it's Twitch chat, maybe. When I'm live, right? If I'm here, I'll mod Twitch chat. But, so, like, if I get DMs from people like, why did I get banned from the team? I don't know. Don't ask me. I literally don't know. I'm not going to fight for you to get unbanned. You have to talk to the mods. Take it up with the mods. Like, it's so like mind-blowing. They're like, Rahne, it's your... Nope, not my Discord. Definitely not my... You know what Discord I own? One Discord. You know which one that is? The women's Discord. That's the only Discord in Eve. Or, actually, in general. It's not even just Eve. That's the only Discord in general I own. I don't even have my own Discord. Shame they go to Amamake 1v1. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Look, we can watch it from here. In a safe distance, completely tethered. Where no one can hurt us. That was kind of cheesy. Also, I don't know if you guys have been watching it. This is Rookie Help Chat right here. If you guys have been watching the questions, like if I were CCP and I were like, hey guys, I want to improve the new player experience, what do I do? Just watch Rookie Help Chat and see the questions people ask. And then you can make tutorials and stuff to help them with that. That's my thoughts. I've spent a lot of time just sitting and helping Rookie Help. I love helping new bros, new players. We shouldn't understand just because someone wants to play Eve differently, it doesn't make their gameplay wrong. It's just different. I know, I agree. Some people like to play things differently. I think we can all agree that, you know, griefing is bad, right? And then someone's always going to be like, define griefing. The moment you define griefing is the moment that people toe the line, right? Because griefing is usually like, you could probably describe griefing as unwanted behavior, right? At its like most core, right? But then someone's like, well, I don't want you shooting my ship, so therefore it's unwanted behavior. And it's like, well, no. Like, I want a behavior that goes, like, beyond the game. Oh, well, so then you can use the game. Oh, no, well, this and that, right? Or some people will say it as, like, I'm trying to think of a way to say it, like, harassing or toxic, right? Like, something very clearly demeaning, right? But you can grief in ways that seem polite. And that is how bullying happens. I did it in school. It was a lot of fun. You guys want to hear my bullying story? So I had some girls in school. They weren't nice to me. So they spread a rumor or something. It was like I was dating some guy, which is weird because we were, like, 13. And I was like... And it wasn't even like an ugly guy. It was like a dude I just never talked to. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. They want to play that game. So I told this girl, happy birthday, every single time I saw her. Her locker was really close to mine. And we always had to go to our lockers between classes. So guess what I did? I told this girl, happy birthday, probably 10 times a day. Every time I saw her, oh, hey, Paige, happy birthday! And you act real polite about it, right? Because if you're polite and you're just saying happy birthday, how is that bullying? And I did this to this poor girl every single day. It's my favorite story because I feel really smug because she left me the fuck alone after that, right? And we're 13. Doesn't matter. It's not like I'm beating the shit out of her in the locker room or something, right? And I did that to her, and eventually she was screaming at me, shut the fuck up! I don't think she said fuck, but that was what she meant. She was screaming at me. Like, shut up, it's not my birthday! And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know! Next time I saw her, happy birthday, Paige! It was so much fun. Is that griefing? Yes. On paper, is that griefing? No. Absolutely agree that grieving has turned this around, but the whole ticket submission thing to get workers reimbursed illegitimate was extremely sad to read. You realize, okay, hold up. Do you care about any other time people abuse the ticketing system? Because I'm guessing you don't know about every other time people abuse it. You're just going to focus on this one, right? Taking a personal choice of being a jerk on purpose cause anger, hatred, and frustration purposely. It's something that's part of the role play in the game. But you can't, yes. Okay, I'm going to throw it out there. For those who don't know, role play takes two people. You cannot say, oh, I'm role playing, if another party does not consent to role playing. Because then it's just you being one, really weird, right? In most contexts, it's really weird. Just like, you're just like, dude, what are you doing? Or it's you trying to like mask being an asshole, right? Because CCP has said multiple times, right? Like, you cannot role play. Like, say your character is Amar. You cannot role play, like, you can role play disliking Minmatar, but you cannot say, oh, I'm a racist because I'm Amar, right? Like, you cannot use, like, slurs in the game and say, oh, I was just role playing because I'm Amar, right? Like, you can't do that. Focus on it because it was exposed with screenshots, of course, but it probably happened at the time, but it exposes the EVE partner propagating the behavior. Oh, yeah, EVE players propagate that all the time. You know there are players, right, who literally petition every single loss they've ever had. Literally every single one. They just email the GMs. Hey, man, I lost my ship. Can I get it back, please? Question mark. And they get a lot of them back, right? Like, a lot of legitimate, like, they'll go into PvP, they'll go into, like, a fleet fight and they'll lose a ship and be like, yeah, bro, can I get my ship back? GMs reimburse it. No, I don't think that should be addressed or changed, because you're focusing on one minor issue and you're not focusing on the bigger picture. If you only care that Hateless is telling people to contact GMs, rather than, I don't know, the dozens of people who like, petition every single thing, then you're just focused on hating on Hateless. Every single AT ship loss gets petitioned, and you pray for a rookie GM so you can get it back, and then you pray that nobody publishes your screenshot. CCP does have an explicit policy to not reimburse AT ships. Talking about it in general, not just those two people. Well, you brought up only those two people. Hold on, 1 second. For people like me that enjoy being ganked, bumped, and grieved, you deserve to have you enjoy. How dare you? That's why I never understand, right? Here's another hot take. I never understand that people are like, treat others as you want to be treated. You know what? I love it when people talk shitty to me. So therefore, I should talk shitty to everyone else. Like, no, that's not a good way to do things. Like, you should not tell people that. People are like, oh, it's the golden rule. Like, no, Like, I enjoy being spanked. Therefore, I should spank everyone. Like, no. What? Like, I enjoy passive-aggressive remarks. Should I treat everyone No. Like, it's so dumb. I hate that. It's just called, just be a decent human being, right? Treat people with kindness. That's very easy to follow, right? Like, if you can't be kind, then just don't do anything. Forgot about people like me and getting fun petty. I don't think you remember Halo selling people. However, Ashna told people to do that. He also said you can make the ticket if you want, but it doesn't mean you're going to get your ship back. I don't know who Ashton is, Key. Wrong with working the ref. Why not just make high-sec PvE, no risk, very low reward for us making to make go to lower null. See, that would be something that CCP would have to do, though. Players will min-max everything, that's what they're good at, yeah. You unmuted at the worst time. I know, I'm sorry, Flea. Ganking me is kind. Have you been playing since 07? There's a screenshot of Hateless lawyer telling people to submit tickets. Has Hateless admitted it, or are you just taking screenshots? Because it's super easy. I'm going to say, if it's a Discord screenshot, that's so easy to fake. It's so easy. I've had people fake screenshots for me of me, just to prove how easy it is. Yeah, anyone can make a ticket. In general, as far as I'm aware, CCP does not punish for, like, how would I describe this? You know, like when you make reports? Like, if you report someone, there's the assumption that you're doing it in good faith, right? I don't think CCP punishes for tickets on the assumption that most players are going to do it on good faith. If they catch you attempting to like not do it on good faith, they might yell at you. But I don't think they punish for that to avoid players being afraid to submit tickets or whatever, right? What's going on with Hateless? Did he quit EVE Online? No, he did not quit EVE. He stopped producing content because of griefing. And then we being TIS had an interview with Wrathful Hawk, who's a ganker. And in his interview, he talked about like ganking, how he sets it up, you know, the groups that he's with, kind of how it works. And then towards the end, he's like, oh, well, Hateless made a video addressing ganking, so I want to address that. So he did. And so then Hateless was like, oh, well, can I have an interview to address him? And we're like, sure, like, why not? So we interviewed Hateless from the perspective of, you know, how does a sort of high-sec PvE Care Bear approach things? And then it turned into like, ganking versus griefing was like the end-all be-all, right? Bagging it, blagging it, what? Right to just submit tickets to the game system, that's not fair. I mean, you can submit tickets, why not? You like Hateless, Shame, good vid. The story of people saying they're gonna get their stuff back, like reading the National Enquirer saying how Elvis and Bigfoot are together. Or how, yeah, I've seen a lot of the crazy propaganda. All the players try it and bag a replacement, yeah. The thing about grieving and tricking is that only grieving if the person feels abused. That's why ticketing says anyone can create a ticket for anyone. That's why there's support staff as opposed to robot handling tickets, yeah. And they do, like, I don't know if you guys know this, GMs, from what I know, and this is from tours at CCP where they're like sharing about how their processes work. So GMs, it's really funny. When you tour their offices, they turn off all the GM metrics. So you can't see like, hey man, here's, you know, how many tickets we got through or how many people we banned or whatever. Robots banned. Excuse me, sorry, I keep coughing. So, but they, as far as I'm aware, they have GMs that work 24/7. Sorry, that made it sound like there's individuals who work 24/7. They have shifts. So that there's always GMs online to handle something, right? So a lot of people are talking about like GMs from the perspective of reimbursing ships or, you know, reporting bots or something like that. But GMs handle a lot of other like more serious stuff. Like if a player in Australian time zone gets stuck doing a mission, right? They need immediate help, so therefore the GMs help them. The GMs are on to monitor chats and like if people, you know, threaten self-harm. That's a lot of the times of what the GMs look at 24/7. And then they obviously have their thing of like, okay, you know, somebody has a payment issue, how do we fix that? Or this player lost a ship, is that okay? Or maybe they get 200 tickets in, you know, a minute saying, hey, I disconnected, what's going on, right? So that's how they adjust things. So, yeah, that's how the GM process works. And a lot of people don't understand this. So CCP, so if a dev has a CCP name, right, so it's CCP Swift, they are not GMs. GMs have their own GM ticker. So like GM Ice Cream, GM Spider, right? So they were devs, or they were GMs and then worked their way up. Same with Guard. Guard was originally a GM Guard. So that's something also to keep in mind. So a lot of people ask questions about GMs to CCP devs, and it's like Swift isn't out there answering tickets. Like that is not what Swift does in his day-to-day job. He might be able to go and talk to the GMs or talk to the people who oversee the GMs, but he's not out there like, yeah, bro, let me look at all these tickets from Rain because she's complaining about stuff or whatever. GM, don't hug me, I'm scared. GM, please no. But yeah. That's how it works. It's fun stuff. Actually. Delana has us tickets for Panic at the Disco, and I'm stoked. But yeah, so the original question was from Sun, asking why we're not doing a follow-up. It's like, you can only beat the horse so many times. I really don't want to have to moderate the shitty part of the community. I don't know if you guys know this, but when you have to deal with shitty people a lot, it really is, I don't want to say depressing, but it's really defeating to have passion and motivation to do things when you see some of the worst of the worst. Here's my take on the new update. Ooh, which one? I'm trying to remember which update came out last. Let me go look at the patch notes. Are you talking about the like battleship, like put cargo in cargo one? I'm with 100 zombies, higher angles. Let's go on test. Leaving. I don't know anything about test right now. Reefer. Is that new? I have not heard anything about test. I have heard about. Oh gosh, what are their names? There was a group, Hero Coalition. I heard they disbanded, but I've just heard kind of through the grapevine whispers. I haven't really read about it too much. Avalanche of pebbles and rocks breaking against your armor, slowly cracking your armor bit by bit. Policing a chatter community can be like that. Yes, exactly. The new ships. Oh, that's what you're talking. Oh, the big update. Yeah, I love it. I'm super excited for faction warfare. I'm not too enthusiastic about the new ships, but I mean, I still don't really fly like Triglavian ships or Edencom ships, so if that kind of gives you some perspective. I really liked the command destroyers when they came out, so that's probably the exception. But yeah, I'm not too particular about the new ships, so I'm really excited about the faction warfare stuff. Takes a hit to the personal morale. Yeah, dude, you know like how, you know the people, so like Twitch chat and talking stations, and EVE players probably is not the worst of the worst, but the people who do some like heinous shit on like Twitter or Facebook, they say like those moderators, those content moderators need like therapy because of how bad it is. Never done faction warfare? You were curious? It's really fun. So I have an alt, and it can only fly T1 Thrashers, and I've taken it to Mimitar faction warfare, and I've just kind of flown around. So when you're actually enlisted in faction warfare, you get militia chat. So I'll just post there. I'll be like, hey guys, where's the fighting happening? Anyone need help? And then they'll like post the system, and I'll go there and I'll find my friends. I say friends like kind of loosely. And we just kind of sit and we'll farm plexes, or we'll go and actively fight. Like, it's actually really fun. I don't do any comms with them, or I haven't yet, but that's been a lot of my fun. Trig guns need to be clubbed like a baby seal with a Nerf bat. Why don't you like the trig guns? What the heck? I'm reading chat, sorry. Oh, bless. Frenemy is the best kind. Yeah. I think it's a lot of fun. Because it's like, if you want it to be super high, like focus, intense, it can be. And if you want to just relax and kind of sit in a plex, kind of like semi-AFK, you can do it. Building damage, yeah. Yeah, so what you do is like, so they have complexes, and if you capture complexes, actually I can show you right here. I'm literally in a faction warfare system, so here you go. So here's the faction warfare, right? So it's currently a Mar. So if you open it up, right, so you can see kind of, so here's the Mar, the blue, and the Mimitar, the red. Oh my gosh, okay, you guys can see this. I was like, wait a second. Okay. So you can see kind of who's capture status, etc. So you can use this, but you can't really tell where anyone is. So usually they give you like a chat that says militia. I'm not in it right now because I'm in PL. And so what you do is you can go to a system, and then you can pull up, oops, I did not want to do it. I always click that. Probe scanner. So you can do anomalies and remove the cosmic sigs. So you see like Amar Novice Outpost. I can't do it from here, can I? Oh. That's weird. Oh, okay. That's for the event. I'm sorry. No one has these opens. Oh, right here. So here you can see the outpost, and it's been opened, right? Because it's over here. So if you look at the Amar small, if I just filter Mar large, okay, so the Mar small, there's no medium though, so the medium hasn't been opened. But what you can do is you can press on them, and then look at them, and then you can descan. So then, oh my gosh, angle. This is the new UI. So so there's an Atron here. So let's say we're in a Thrasher. Oh, he's in a Novice, so I can't go in a Novice. But you can go around here and look. You use local to see like who might or might not be, because they show up like purple or red or whatever. That's kind of what you do. You just fly around. Faction warfare. I think it's a lot of fun. I might be super biased though, but I think it's fun. But yeah. So you go into those complexes, and within the complex is an NPC. If you are defending, you do not have to shoot the NPC. If you are attacking, right? So if I was a Mar, I would not shoot the NPC. But if I was Mimitar, I would have to go into those complexes to shoot the NPC. And then in shooting the NPC, when it dies, the timer counts down until I capture it. And that's how you capture them. Projecting too far in defense of the shitty people you guys are also talking about for their taking away EVA's core gameplay. Isn't this his creation? Maybe people just need to grow thicker skin and stop being so sinless. Eve, after all, can't be true. But I mean, it's not really. I mean, so wisdom. You have to realize the shitty people I'm defending are people telling each other to kill themselves. Like, I do not care how much you love this game. There should never be a point in time when you tell somebody else to kill themselves. Like, that's just completely uncalled for. Yeah, I'm trying to teach people, LB. A little bit. So, Bao had a question. Bowbender. So, like, this isn't shitty people as in, like, somebody comes in and maybe they swear or they say, you know what, you suck. Or whatever. Like, those people, like, that's fine. Like, people saying I suck or whatever is fine. Like, we've had that before. People in Twitch chat will be like, hey, I don't agree with your opinion. And that's okay. No one says you have to agree. No one says you have to be nice or whatever, right? Oh, you're talking about the in-game activity? Yeah, so that's completely different. But yeah, I see what you're saying. But yeah, when you say defensive shitty people, like that's just, there's no, like, when I say shitty people, I mean people who are like taking things way out of the game, right? Or they're going like clearly over, like whatever line you want to draw in the sand, they're going way over it. Sorry, there's a guy with a tiny dick outside who has to tell everyone. Do you realize that? Yeah, that's what I meant, wisdom. Like, I do not mind having people on the show with different opinions to talk about those different opinions. But like when I have to moderate Twitch chat because people are insulting their appearance, the way they talk, threatening their real lives or their families, or making really derogatory comments, that's when I do not want to be moderating the Twitch chat. I do not want to bring out that side of Eve. And I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, that's only a little part of Eve. Well, that's great. They should get the fuck out of Eve, because that's never acceptable to me, ever. I don't care the reason why they got so, oh, I'm so mad or whatever. Like, I don't care. They should not be in this game. Like, if you can't control your emotions, you can go play children's games that are single player and don't involve others. Yeah, that should, yeah. So that's what I mean when I say, like, I don't want to moderate a Twitch chat like that. The exploration of different opinions is how he grows people, exactly. But you want to be able to, when you have those, you want to be in a mindset where you are open to hearing different opinions, right? So if I take two people who are very stubborn, set in their ways, right? This is not a reference to Halos or Hawk, I'm saying in general. But if you take two people who are stubborn and set in their ways, and only it's their way or the highway, they're not going to really have a discussion. They're just going to talk about their points, and no one's going to get anywhere, right? That's why a lot of what TIS does is very singular. Sorry, I got an eyelash on I itch my eye, and then I get an eyelash on it like an idiot. So that's why when TIS does like interviews, we'll either have like two people from different sides of, like, say, a war, and they're both amicable and can talk about like just what's happening, or we will have a episode where it's just one person talking, or maybe one or two people of like the same opinion or the same quote unquote side of a topic or a conflict to talk about it. Because in that way, instead of it turning into, oh no, now they're arguing about something, it can be, we're just going to hear their opinions, and we as the host can kind of challenge it or ask for clarity, right? But it's not my job to sit there and debate someone, right? My job is to sit there and get their opinion. And that's generally what I enjoy doing. It's proper pod hunting for skill point loss kills. That to me is the best part of Eve. Was bitter when you lost. Oh man, do you guys grow thick skin at the grocery store? Do you feel like crap at school or at work as a random person? If you don't do that in real life, why would you do this game? You still have to be opening to listen. Yes, exactly. And some people, right, like, I'm super stubborn in some things, and there's some stuff where, like, if you try to tell me different, I'm like, nope, I do not care. Like, I care about you as a person, but I do not care about that opinion or that hot take. So I'm watching streams where two people are arguing. It is, but it's also really annoying. So if you think of, like, have you ever seen two people, like, think of, like, you're in, like, a restaurant or a grocery store, or you're, like, at the park, and there's, like, a wife and a husband, and they're arguing about something, or maybe it's two siblings. Siblings is probably easier, and they're arguing, and they're stubborn, and they're really mad at each other, and they just stand there and scream, and you don't really know what they're arguing about. They just end up, like, escalating their voices, and they're just like, I hate you, no, I hate you, or whatever, right? Like, that's what it turns into. That's entertaining to watch in person, if you're not trying to, like, enjoy a meal or a movie or whatever. But when it's online, what you get is, like, two people yelling, and then it cuts out one of the mics because, like, Discord's garbage or whatever voice system you're using is garbage. And then they just kind of yell, and eventually, like, somebody's noise gate breaks in and they're just kind of all crackly or whatever. It's not enjoyable. It's not fun online. It's definitely not that fun. Having opposed that only works in some cases. Wait, your logic is because CEOs like to hire women to be... What the heck? Have you ever been in a COD lobby? It's called catharsis. Oh my gosh. But yeah. I think generally listening to it online is not fun. I love watching people fight in real life. Like, I'll go to, like, a situation, I'll be like, oh damn, dude, those people look like they're gonna fight, and I'll just sit and watch. And then when they start throwing punches, I'll step in. Like, I should say, yeah, I guess it depends. Maybe I won't step in. If it's two giant dudes, I ain't stepping in that. Mid-game, why would you sow something that just makes you angry and hateful? Oh, why would you play something that just makes you angry and hateful? I mean, so you can have, it's other people's reactions though, right? So, I'm trying to think. So, like, think of it, you know, like how when they do the ESBR or whatever, I don't know what they're called, those ratings, it'll be like, oh, 13 plus, and then it says online experience is not rated, right? It's because you can't really gate the online experience stuff, right? Have you seen people, like, there are some people, and they do this. They will play a game, like Dota 2. Dota 2 is the easy example. They play a game, and the moment the game launches, they immediately mute every single person in the game, including their own teammates. They've never let them talk, no idea who they are, don't judge them based on their name or their profile picture, their profile. They just immediately mute them, right? And that's because some people just want to play the game, and they enjoy the game, but they don't want to deal with other people, and that other people make the game a shitty experience. And the thing is they can't block the character's actions. Like, if somebody wants to grief in Dota 2, they can still grief in Dota 2. But yeah, that's crazy. Do I enjoy watching Russia versus... No, I do not like war. I do not like war in any capacity in real life, and I do not like the willing loss of human life. Don't enough to be able to listen to someone else's view, even when it directly contradicts your own. You mute people in League. Yeah, you mute, like, right, that's a prime example, right? Some people will say, well, why do you play League if it makes you so mad? And you're like, the game doesn't make me mad. People in the game make me mad. So if I want to enjoy the game, which brings me joy, I have to mute everyone. And that should not be the solution. I will say, if you're like, what is it, Dota 2 is made by Valve or Riot, like that, like, if you know people do that because that's the gameplay other people are making you feel, like, that's bad, right? A dojo or a boxing ring. We don't attempt to force dark desires. Oh, I see what you're saying. So League of Legends, yes, exactly. Yeah, when you play games are for fun and other people ruin it to the point where you just have to mute them all, that's not a fun game to me. That's what that provides sometimes shows people's true selves, yes. Which is sad. And then people just say, haha, I was joking though, XD. It was just a prank, bro. Which is terrible. If you are the tête de launch, then attempts to win the game with diplomatic speech. Are you okay? Calm down. You guys sound like my D&D characters. I always play D&D characters that are like, have you guys ever played... I get really mad when I play D&D sometimes, because we'll go into a situation, and there'll be bandits, right? So I always see bandits in a D&D game as, like, getting mugged in real life, right? So a guy approaches you with a knife, and he says, hey man, give me your wallet. In D&D, every single person is like, I take out my gun and I blow his brains out. And it's like, whoa, like, what the fuck? And I'm like, yo, how much money are they asking for? Can we afford that? Can we convince them not to mug us? Can we say, hey bro, I don't want to fight, I have this weapon, we're gonna hurt you, right? No, every person, every group I play D&D with is like, nah man, I blew his brains out, fuck that guy. And I'm like, bro, like, why do we just endlessly kill in Dungeons and Dragons? Like, Dungeons and Dragons is one game and one thing where you can, like, not be an asshole. You know, like a video game, like, where you're like, I think of, like, every video game ever where they're like, oh, there's bad guys and you have to kill them all. Like, you have to. There's no choice. You cannot progress until you kill them. And I'm just like, why do we gotta do that? Like, why can't I just have a game where, like, I don't know, I convince them that we don't have to fight? Because that's how it is in real life most of the time, right? Like, we're all humans, right? If some guy tries to mug you on the street, the reason he's mugging you is probably because he can't afford something like food. Or it could be like an addiction, right? Like maybe he's like sick with addiction or needs to... Actually, if you're in America, it could be also sick so he needs meds. Haha, thanks America. Right? But it's like, why can't we just rationalize it out? Like, why do we gotta fight each other? We're playing a game with people and playing a game at people. This says follow, you have high charisma. You give them the wallet and ask them to be friends. But they're bandits. De-escalation force. Now you're evaluating all your D&D choices, right? So there was one time. There was one encounter. I remember this so vividly. And so we were our group was traveling with another caravan. And one of the caravans had a royal, like a noble, a royal. They had a noble, and the noble would beat his horse. And our party approached the noble as he was beating his horse. And we're like, bro, why are you beating your horse? And he's like, it's not working, it's going as fast as I want, so I'm beating it. And we're like, you should stop. And he's like, no, sell me one of your horses, and then I will stop. And so our party had the dilemma of, do we sell this guy a horse so he stops beating his horse? And we're like, no, because he's just going to beat his horse. And so us collectively, as a party, just murdered the guy. We just walked up, stabbed him, looked at his guards and said, you guys want to fight too, or are you going to leave? And so they left to go and form the noble family. And the DM was like, why? He's like, why did you do that? And we're like, look, in real life, right? In real life, if I walk across someone beating the shit out of their dog, I cannot stop that person, right? I can maybe fight him, and then it gets into an altercation, then I go to jail for assault or some stupid shit, right? But the dog, no matter what, is gonna get beaten. Even if I call the cops. In my state, you are allowed to beat your dogs. As long as they have, quotes, a bowl for water and a bowl for food, you can abuse the shit out of your pets all you want. That's how fucking shitty my state is. It's also very common in a lot of other states, so don't get me wrong. Right? And I told the DM, I was like, this is the only instance where I can get any sort of justice to help an animal. Because every other time in real life, I cannot help the animal. I could maybe help one animal, I find an animal and, it got its leg stuck in a trap, or, I don't know, it got hit by a car or whatever, and I can kind of help it, right? I help this little poor fox, which, by the way, you shouldn't touch foxes, they have rabies, but I help this little poor fox, assuming it doesn't have rabies, or whatever, right? And then I'm like, no, in D&D, this is the only time I can punish a terrible person doing directly terrible things. I was like, I did it. Yeah. And you're like, Rain, do you regret killing? No. That is the only encounter I have zero regrets. And I remember the DM telling us, he's like, the noble has a family, and the family could come back and punish you. I'm like, that's great. But in real life, I cannot get justice for animals. So therefore, I'm going to do it in my stupid video game. Bandits want to attack me? Fine. People at a bar want to fight me? Sure. Some little weird vampire, I don't know what a vampire wants to kill my party because it needs to eat? Fine. Whatever. I'll approach those with some compassion. I'm not approaching an animal beast with compassion. But yeah, that is that is what I did. That is the only time I was like, right? Because I think, right, I think you play D&D, and it's the only time you can act out things that you can't do in real life. Oh my god, we've been streaming for an hour and a half. I need to end the stream. Oh my god, my mom's picking me up. Oh my god, I have to go, team. Alright, I'm gonna talk to you all later. I have to go get stuff done. My mom. Do you guys want to say hi to my mom? Oh, she's not here yet. Oh, thank god. Oh, there are children running around screaming outside. Alright. So anyway, very clearly time we should be stopping because we're talking about D&D instead of EVE Online. Hey, Epios. But thank you all for your comments. I appreciate the feedback and the discussion. I'm gonna go save some animals. My mom, I know, dude, I fucking wish. I do save a lot of bugs. I saved a spider the other day. Panicking squirrel, yeah. Alright, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for the impromptu stop by with the stream. I apologize it wasn't more fancy and we don't have cool graphs and actual news and guests that know what they're talking about instead of me. Spider's gonna know you're so mean. I love spiders. Alright. But thank you all. I appreciate it. So I will not be here Sunday. I do not know who will be. I think both Nick and Artemis can be. So they might have... Maybe Matterall will come back. Maybe they'll bully Matterall to come. Otherwise, they might just do their own thing. Artemis can host as well. She's pretty good at it. She's run this stuff for years. Feels like half a decade. So, but thank you all. I will see you hopefully in 2 weeks. But yeah, go watch the VOD. I apologize. I know my microphone's not the best. Hopefully a desktop audio kind of covered that. But thank you all. I appreciate it. Alright. Oh wait, we're gonna raid. Don't leave yet. We're gonna raid. Do you guys have a preference for who we raid? Oh my god, I bet that's my mom. Look, I'm streaming. We can raid Steve. You guys wanna raid Steve? Alright, we're gonna raid Steve. Copy link address. Force your dark this is getting kinky, you guys. You guys can't do this. I'm gonna get kicked off as a host, dude. They're gonna be like, Rain, what the fuck was that? I'm kidding. Alright, we're gonna go raid Steve. Go say hi to Steve. Give them a follow if you haven't. Go share some love. Thank you all for hanging out. I hope to see some of you at Vegas, and if not, I will see you in 2 weeks.
Docking request accepted.
Oh, I gotta turn off the stream. Ugh. Too boomer for this dude. Oh, I gotta press all the buttons. Hello, everyone. I'm assuming you can still hear me. Good thing I didn't get changed on stream. Alright, bye.